All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, it is time to do a full set review for the OP-13 cards. That's right. We're going to be breaking this into two parts like we did last time with OP-12. We're going to be doing red, green, and blue first, and then we're going to be going over the purple, black, and yellow cards in part two. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it because we have a lot to talk about. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Okay, let's do this, guys. Let's get into it. A lot of cool cards to go over here. We're not going to be talking about any of the alt arts, by the way, but we will be talking about the leaders and all that good stuff. We're gonna kind of just like gloss over the alt arts just to save on time. Okay, so first up, we've got a bunch of leaders in a row because in OP-13, there's a lot of red leaders, right? And this is in color order, so it's going to go through red, green, Luffy, and then red, blue, Ace, and then red, purple, Roger, red, black, Sabo. Okay, so first up is Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy is a 4-life, 5,000 power, red-green leader with the Supernova and Straw Hat crew types. The effect is Dawn ×1. On your opponent's attack, if you have 5 or less active Dawn cards, you may rest any number of your Dawn cards. For every Dawn card rested this way, this leader or up to one of your Straw Hat crew type characters gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. So guys, this leader effect is really, really powerful because it's allowing you to cash in Dawn, which is a free resource, right? It's a free resource that you're able to cash in for defensive power, okay? Really, really powerful leader effect. However, you do have to take into consideration that's one less Dawn you're going to be using on your turn that you're saving for your opponent's turn. Okay, but either way, of course, that's still very, very good because you can balance that, and there's going to be a lot of cards we look at as well once we get to the green cards that give you more, more bang for your buck, so to speak, with Dawn cards by allowing you to stand them and things like that. Either way, a potentially very powerful effect here because you can leave up to 5 Dawn cards active and still be able to use this effect. So that's 10,000 power of counter in hand. That's the equivalent of having 5 extra 2K counters in your hand to use defensively on your leader or Straw Hat crew characters. Okay, only Straw Hat crew characters. Okay, really good stuff here. Let's keep going. I'm probably not going to rate these cards, guys. We're just going to be talking about them and moving on. Okay, there's the alt art. Very nice. Okay, next up we have Portgas D. Ace. This is a 3-life, 6,000 power, red-blue, Whitebeard Pirates type leader with the effect, on your opponent's attack once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand and give up to one of your opponent's leader or character cards minus 2,000 power during this battle. And then we have Dawn ×1. Once per turn, when you take damage or your character with 6,000 base power or more is KO'd, draw 1 card. Okay, so really good stuff here. This leader has the 6,000 power, 3-life type of stat line, and that Dawn ×1 effect is really cool, guys, because it's going to allow you to just block out with characters that have 6,000 power or more and draw a card from it. So that alone is very good. Or even if you just lose a character once per turn, from battle, right? That has 6,000 base power or more, you're going to be able to draw a card as long as you can attach 1 Dawn to your leader. But that first effect is really good too, because the first effect is allowing you to just trash a brick from your hand and then give a character a leader or a character minus 2,000 power during the battle. So very defensive leader effect here that also has ways to draw cards. Guys, this leader kind of has it all built into it if you think about it. It has 2 different colors to work with. It's a 6,000 power, 3-life leader, so yes, you're low on life. So you might be thinking, well, now you're not going to be able to draw as many cards over the course of the game from taking hits. It's like yes and no, right? Because with this effect here, notice what it says: Dawn ×1 once per turn. When you take damage, or your character with 6,000 base power more is KO'd, you draw a card. Okay, so if you have 1 Dawn attached to your leader and they attack into you and you take the hit, well, now you draw 2 cards. So that is going to help you out big time, and that's assuming they can get through whatever blockers you might be laying down first that might have 6,000 base power or more that are going to draw you cards in the process. So I really like the way that Bandai chose to design this leader. I think this is a really strong leader design here. Okay, let's keep going. There's the alt art, very nice. Okay, moving on to Goldie Roger. So Roger is a 5-life, 7,000 power, red-purple leader with King of the Pirates and Roger Pirates type. And the effect is if you have any Dawn cards on your field, one Dawn card placed during your Dawn phase is given to your leader. Okay, so let me read that again. That was kind of confusing. If you have any Dawn cards on your field, one Dawn card placed during your Dawn phase is given to your leader. Okay, and then if you have 9 or less Dawn cards on your field, give this leader minus 2,000 power. So that's the whole condition there that balances, quote unquote, the having 7,000 base power on the leader. So until you get to 10 Dawn, you're just a 5,000 power, 5-life leader. But guys, that's pretty good, all things considered, right? Because this is still a dual-colored leader, and this is a red and purple leader. Okay, so like we saw, with red-green Luffy and red-blue Ace, they don't have purple. They don't have any access to ramping Dawn. Okay, well, purple does. Purple has access to Dawn ramp, so they're going to be able to get to 10 Dawn a turn or maybe even 2 turns earlier than they should have. And in this case here, once you do get to 10 Dawn, you're going to be sitting on a 7,000 base power leader. Okay, and that first effect is very tricky. If you have any Dawn cards on your field, one Dawn card placed during your Dawn phase is given to your leader. That was very confusing when it was first spoiled, when it first came out. But the logic is this. Notice how it's worded. If you have any Dawn cards in your field. So that means on turn 1, you don't have any Dawn cards on your field, right? So on turn 1, even if you're going first, you'll have your one Dawn to use for searchers right away, okay? But then once you get to 10 Dawn, where, okay, you have, all 10 Dawn on the field. If you have any Dawn cards on your field, one Dawn card placed during your Dawn phase is given to your leader. Well, there is no Dawn being placed, so you have your 10 Dawn to work with. It's a very tricky wording there. It's kind of confusing, probably especially for newer players. But the idea is this. At the beginning of your game, you don't attach any Dawn because you have no Dawn cards on your field. And then once you're on 10 Dawn, you don't have to place any more Dawn cards from your Dawn deck onto your leader. But you do have to already start the turn off with 10 Dawn. Okay, other than that, though, this is a pretty straightforward leader, and I think the justification for making this, essentially this is a 5-life, 5,000 power dual-colored leader, and I think the reason that they allow for it to be that way is because you really don't have a leader effect, guys. If you think about it, if you look at this card right here, you don't actually have any type of leader effect. You're just a 7,000 power leader once you get to 10 Dawn, which is strong. That should not be overlooked. That's very powerful, but I think that's the justification in Bandai's mind for allowing this to be a 5-life, 5,000 power leader from the rip with dual colors, right? So really cool stuff here, and a lot of potential, especially being in purple. If you can keep ramping up and getting to 10 Dawn very quickly, well, the faster you're a 7,000 power leader. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, awesome alt art here. Probably my favorite one so far out of all the leaders. Okay, we got one more leader to go over. We got red-black Sabo here. So this is a 5-life, 5,000 power red-black leader with the Dressrosa and Revolutionary Army type. The effect is if you have 4 or more life cards, give this leader minus 1,000 power. Dawn times 1, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, your leader and all of your characters gains plus 1,000 power. So here we go again, guys. We have another dual-color leader with 5 life and 5,000 power. But it comes at a cost. Okay, now this leader actually has an effect, right? This leader has an effect. Whereas with Red Purple Roger, it technically has an effect, right? Where if you have 9 or less, if you have any Dawn cards on your field, one Dawn card placed during your Dawn phase is given to your leader. That is an effect, but it's actually more of a hindrance than it is anything, right? Because that means you have 1 less Dawn every turn to work with until you get up to 10 Dawn. So you have 1 less Dawn to work with. It's kind of just a negative condition. It's just hurting you more than anything. Okay, and that, again, that probably also played into the idea of it being a 5-life, 5,000 power dual color leader. Well, with Sabo, it's similar, but it's a little bit different. We have a 5 life, 5,000 power dual color leader, but we have a much stronger effect here. This Dawn ×1, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, your leader and all your characters gains plus 1,000 power. Okay, and then, but this first part is what balances that, I guess. If you have 4 or more life cards, give this leader minus 1,000 power, and that is on your turn and your opponent's turn. That is just a static effect. It's continuous. It stays in. It stays active at all times. So if you have 4 or more life cards, this leader has minus 1,000 power. So that is really, really brutal to deal with early on, because you're just a 4,000 power leader on attack and on defense until you're down to 3 or less life. I am still a really big fan of this leader, because the main thing that I've been pushing for quite some time is giving us 5 life on dual color leaders. 5,000 power dual color leaders. Most of the time they're built with 4 life, like what we saw with Red Green Luffy. But I have really been trying to push for this 5 life dual color leader thing, and I'm a big fan of what they're doing here. I think they're approaching it from a very good standpoint. They're making it where there is some drawback, right, to having the dual color, 5 life. It's like, okay, well, you're just going to have to take the first 2 hits for free, pretty much. Being a 4,000 power leader, if they attack in for 5, you have to give them a 2k counter just for attacking blank with their leader. So I do think that's pretty nice. I think it's pretty well balanced, and I think it's a step in the right direction for the game. Okay, but as far as this leader goes, very powerful, because once you do get down to 3 life and you start slamming down your late game characters, well, guess what? All of a sudden, you're just a 6,000 base power leader for the most part, right? Once you start getting down these bigger characters and a Dawn attached to your leader, well, you're swinging for 7,000, right? If you have an 8 cost or higher character on the board and a Dawn attached to your leader, you're swinging for 7,000 on offense, and then on defense, you're a 6,000 power leader. So really, really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, there's the alt art. All right, here we go. Moving into the red cards now. So first up is Inazuma. Inazuma is a 4-cost, 5,000 power red character with a Revolutionary Army type. The effect is on play, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader. And this is a 2k counter, by the way. This is a 2k counter card. Now that we're on the characters, guys, I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit. I try to spend more time on the leaders because there's so much more to talk about. But now that we're on the characters and the actual, the cards within the set now, I'm going to try to speed things up so we can get through this pretty quickly. So Inazuma being a 4-cost 5k with a 2k counter and then an on-play to give a rested Dawn card to your leader, I think that is very strong. It's a great utility 2k counter, but it's also not too special, right? It is just... more than anything, it's almost more like a filler spot for I would almost say it's better for like the old red-black Saba from OP-04 or OP-05, whatever it was. This would be really good in that deck because you have a 4-cost 5k and you attach a Dawn to your leader who can then protect this character. But either way, solid utility 2k counter here. Okay, next up we have Whoop Slap. This is a 1-cost, 0-power, 1k counter character with Windmill Village. It has the effect on play, give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to one of your Luffy cards, one of your Monkey D. Luffy cards. So that could be to your character or your leader. Okay, a character or leader named Monkey D. Luffy. On play, you can give them 2 rested Dawn cards. Strange effect here. You'd almost expect this to be a utility 2k counter, but it's just a 1k counter. So I'm not a really big fan of this card, and I'm not really sure where it even belongs, like in what deck this belongs to, but hey, it's an interesting effect, and technically you are paying 1 to get 2 Dawns worth of value, and it's a 1k counter in hand. But the type and everything on this card is not really helping all that much. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, we have an SR here, guys. Ace, and Sabo, and Luffy. This is a 1-cost, 1,000 power, 2k counter, red Goa Kingdom type character. With the effect Activate Main, you may give one of your active Dawn cards to one of your leader or character cards and trash this character. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. This is a 2k counter, first of all, right? So that's already good. That's already very strong. And this Activate Main effect is very interesting. You may give one of your active Dawn cards to one of your leader or character cards and trash this character. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. So it's going to cost you 2 Dawn cards altogether, right? If you're trying to play this out in one turn, you're going to have to pay 1 to play this card out and then give an active Dawn card to your leader or character. And then you're going to be able to give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power for the turn. We already have access to cards that are one cost activate main characters that can give minus 3,000. So I'm not a huge fan of what's going on here. But at the same time, this is a 2k counter, whereas the other effect I just mentioned is usually on a 0 counter character. So this does have some application there. It does have some utility. And one thing to note is there is no specificity with this card. You just activate main, you may give one of your active Dawn cards to one of your leader or character cards and trash this character. So notice it's not saying if your leader's Straw Hat or if your leader's this or if your leader's that, or, you know, it doesn't care. And then you can give up one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. So I do like the fact that it can be used in any red deck, and it's basically it's like a pseudo 2-cost minus 3,000 power event almost, right? Because you're going to trash this character after you use it. So it's almost like a 2-cost minus 3,000 power event that attaches a Dawn to a character or leader. So, you know, not too bad, all things considered, but it's also not super interesting to me. It's just a decent utility 2k counter. Okay, next card. Okay, here's the alt art for it. Very awesome. All right, next up we have Emporio Ivankov. This is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter Revolutionary Army type character with the effect if your Revolutionary Army type character would be KO'd by your opponent's effect, you may trash this character instead. So guys, right here we just have an incredible, you know, anti-removal card, at least KO. And it is by your opponent's effect, so it will not save a character from battle. But hey, you know, if your Revolutionary Army type character would be KO'd by your opponent's effect, you may trash this character instead. It's not a type lock, like leader locked card. It's just a type locked card. So it can only protect Revolutionary Army type characters, but you can technically use this in any deck that you'd want to. It's not locked to a specific leader, but it can only protect Revo Army type cards. So good stuff here. We're seeing a lot of anti-removal get into the game, and of course this card's going to be perfect for Revolutionary Army type decks. The fact that it has a 1k counter built into it as well, really good stuff here. Okay, next up. Curly Dedan. Okay, we have a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, red Mountain Bandits type character with the effect, if you have a Mountain Bandits type character other than this card, this character gains double attack. Okay, who knows what's going on here? Maybe Bandai is preparing for a Mountain Bandits type of deck in the future. Not exactly sure, but for those who might be new to the game, for those who are not aware, there's not really a whole lot of Mountain Bandits support in the game currently, and giving a character that has 2,000 power double attack will force you to build it in a very specific way. Not a huge fan of this card, but it does at least have a 1k counter, and who knows, in the future, if Mountain Bandits become strong enough, this card could be decent then. We'll have to see what happens. Okay. Next up, we have Lord of the Coast. This is a 6-cost, 8,000 power, 1k counter character with no base effect. The type is Neptunian and East Blue. Okay, this is just a generic, I call them vanilla characters when they have no actual effects. Like, you notice how there's just a dash here? I just call those vanilla characters. Good stuff, but let's keep going. Okay, next up we have another vanilla card, but this one's a 2k counter. It's a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 2k counter character with the Alabasta type. This is Nefeltari Cobra. Okay, very nice. Let's keep going. Okay, now we have Nefeltari VV. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, red Alabasta type character. With the effect on play, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Alabasta or Straw Hat Crew type card with a cost of 2 or more and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is basically like, we've seen this before in blue with Beige or Beji, however you say his name. We've seen this in purple with Trafalgar Law, but this is like an allied top 4 searcher for Straw Hat Crew. So you can search up any Alabasta or Straw Hat Crew type card with a cost of 2 or more. Good stuff here. Nothing too much to talk about. Just a very solid searcher, you know, for Straw Hat Crew. That also goes over into another type with Alabasta. Really, really cool stuff here. I am a big fan of these events here, or excuse me, these characters here, these searchers that can go across 2 different types. That could make for some very interesting deck building options in the future. And it is also important to note that typically speaking with these 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, top 4 searchers for 2 different types, they can even search up cards with the same name. So for example, even though this card's name is Nefeltari VV, this can search up Nefeltari VVs that cost 2 or more, okay? Which is actually relevant. That is important sometimes. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Higuma. This is a 1-cost, 3,000 power, red Mountain Bandits type character. Okay, here we go. With the effect on play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 0 power or less. Okay, so we were just talking about Mountain Bandits with Curly Dedan, and here you go. Who knows? Maybe in the future there will be a really aggressive, low-to-the-ground rush deck that can get some double attacks in. Could be interesting, but there's not too much to talk about with this card just yet. This is not even that great as a utility card here, guys. KOing a character with with 0 power or less. Even searchers typically, like we just looked at Nefeltari Vivi, right? Even searchers typically have some power, but there are some characters that have 0 power, and of course, being red, we have ways to reduce power as well. Okay. And let me just check something. Yeah, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 0 power or less. It does not go off base power, thank goodness, right? So there is some potential in the future, maybe. Who knows? Okay, good stuff. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Portgas de Rouge. Very cool art here, guys. The Nefeltari Vivi card we just looked at is very similar. I think it's even the same artist. It looks like, I don't know if you guys can see this very well with the resolution. Their name looks like it's Suno Hara. And yeah, so it is the same artist. Very, very nice looking art style here. Portgas de Rouge is a 1-cost, 0 power, 2k counter, red Batteria type, not sure, with no effect, but a trigger. It has no base effect other than this trigger, I should say. The trigger is up to one of your Portgas de Ace cards gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. So again, this is just in brackets. So this means that any card on the field, even a character or even a leader named Portgas de Ace, can gain plus 3,000 power during this turn from the trigger effect. Okay, just a nice utility 2k counter for any type of red ace deck. Really good stuff here, but not too much to talk about. Again, awesome art style though. Okay, next up we have Makino. This is a 1-cost, 0 power, 2k counter, red Windmill Village type character. I feel like this is the 4th 2k counter we've seen so far. Who knows, guys? But this is a Windmill Village type character. With Activate Main, you may rest this character, and then up to one of your Monkey D. Luffy cards gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, so it's a 1-cost, 0 power, 2k counter, so it's a 2k counter in hand, and then you can activate this, you can pay 1 and rest this character, and then give a Monkey D. Luffy card plus 2,000 power for the turn. So that's actually pretty nice. You know, it's a 2k counter in hand, like we said, and then you can rest this down, and you're paying 1 to buff a character or leader by plus 2,000, as long as it's Monkey D. Luffy. Really, really cool stuff here. It's good to have these little utility counters in the game, these ones that can buff and stuff. Okay, especially within red. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, next up we have Monkey D. Garp. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, red Navy type character with the effect, if your leader is Sabo, Portgas de Ace, or Monkey D. Luffy. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with a cost of 3 or more, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So right here, guys, we have just a solid searcher within Sabo, Ace, and Luffy. Any type of red Sabo, Ace, or Luffy deck is going to be able to do a top 4 search for any card that costs 3 or more. So pretty good searcher, all things considered, but not a whole lot to talk about here. Just a nice quality searcher within those 3 leaders. This is the first time I think we've ever seen anything like this where you can only use this if your leader's name is one of these 3 things. But that is a cool idea, especially with it being the 3 brothers and this being Garp. It does have some kind, you know, the theme is strong in this one. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, check out the alt art. Very nice. That looks really awesome. Okay, then we have Monkey D. Dragon. This is a 6-cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter character, red Revolutionary Army type character, with the effect once per turn, if your Revolutionary Army type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may give this character minus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, so we have more KO prevention here, and notice with this one, it is also by an opponent's effect, so it cannot be saved from battle. Okay, now we saw with Red Blue Ace that was just KO'd, period. It was not like it was not KO'd by an opponent's effect, so that could even be in battle with the leader Red Blue Ace that we saw earlier. But this is just like the Ivankov, I believe, where it is by your opponent's effects. Okay, but once per turn, you're going to be able to save one of your Revolutionary Army type characters just by giving this dragon minus 2,000 power for the turn. It's always good to have the anti-KO stuff, you know, the anti-removal stuff within whatever deck you're trying to play. It's even if it's not going to be able to make it into the deck, it's still good to have those options depending on what pops up in the future, right? Because if there's not a lot of removal, especially KO-based removal going on in the current format, well, then you don't have to run this card. But if there is, well, now you can include it if you're going into like a major tournament or whatever. It's just nice to have these kind of options. And it's also a very solid character, 6 cost with 7,000 power and a 1k counter. There's not a whole lot of downsides to running a card like this within a Revolutionary Army type deck. Okay, good stuff. Let's keep going. Okay, wow, check out this picture. We got Walpole. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 2k counter character with a evil black drum kingdom type, and it has no base effect. Okay, so this is just a vanilla 2k counter, 6 cost, 7k. Seems good. All right, now into the events, guys. We got, but Ace here said you deserved it. That's a weird name for the event, but Ace here said you deserved it. Okay, so this is a 1 cost red Dressrosa Revolutionary Army type event. With the effect main, you may rest 4 of your Dawn cards, so that will be 5 altogether. One to activate the event, and then there's an additional 4 needed for this effect here. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. Okay. So basically you're paying 5. Remember guys, it's 1 plus 4 to do minus 3,000 and then KO a 3,000 power or lower character. You're basically paying 5 to KO a 6,000 power character. That's not great. I'm not going to lie. We've already seen, you know, 4 cost Jet Pistol, right? That KOs a 6,000 power character. So this is, it's not great, but I guess the fact that it does have a counter built in as well, it's a 1 cost counter with your leader gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So I guess they didn't want to power creep this card too much to where it was literally a Jet Pistol with a 3k counter built into it. But remember guys, Jet Pistol also has a trigger built in as well that has value in another way. But either way, I think this is still a decent, it is a high utility counter event here, you know, with removal built in, and I don't think we can overlook that, especially considering that this doesn't go off base power. Notice what it says. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn, then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. So if we can have any other extra power reduction, we can hit some even bigger targets. Okay, so pretty good stuff here, all things considered. It is a little bit costly for the main effect, but I think it's good to have because at the end of the day, worst case scenario, you have a 1 cost 3k to protect your leader. And think about that, guys. Within Red Black Saba, what we just saw, that's a 6,000 power leader when you have 1 Dawn attached and a 8 cost or higher character on the board. So you can just pay 1 and get straight to 9,000. That actually helps out quite a bit. Okay, so decent 3k counter utility effect here for the leader with some potential removal built in. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, here we go. So next up we have Meteor Fist. This is a 3 cost red navy event. With the effect, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power during this turn. And then trigger, activate this card's main effect. Now you can only hit a character with that, so the trigger will not help you get out of a leader attack. But still, paying 3 to give minus 5,000 power during this turn. And guys, this is a Navy type card. I'm sure all of the red-black Navy, red-black Kobe players out there are probably thinking, oh yeah, you know, they're doing like this with their hands, licking their lips, thinking, okay, that's probably going to be pretty good, as at least like a 2 or 3 of in the deck, right? Because you'll be able to attack into an active character and reduce their power by 5,000 for 3 Dawn like this. Yeah, that seems like it could be very, very strong, guys. Because at that point, think about it, you can even get some extra value maybe from some like Navy type searchers or something if you could somehow give them the ability to attack into active. Okay, I'll just pay 3, give your 5,000 power active character minus 5,000 power, and I'll make it where my 2,000 power searcher or something like that might be able to attack in. You guys know what I mean. I'm not exact. I can't think of all the Navy and sword cards off the top of my head, but there could be a lot of potential there. This seems like a very strong effect here, and the trigger could also potentially save you. It could win you a game. Because think about if they saved like their 12,000 power. Guys, think about it like this. If they saved their 12k attack at the very end, or maybe it was like a 9 or 10k attack for the very last attack, they attack in, boom, trigger, minus 5,000 power to that character. Guys, if it's a 12k, now it's a 7. If it's a 10k, now it's a 5. Like this seems like a very solid utility event here. I'm a big fan of this one. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Gum Gum Gatling Gun. This is a 1-cost red Straw Hat Crew event. With the effect main, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to one of your Monkey D. Luffy cards. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, and then trigger, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. I do wish the trigger could have given it to a character or leader, like just the trigger, but the main effects are still very powerful, because you're basically paying 1, and then you're going to give that rested Dawn card to one of your Luffys. It could be a leader or a character, and then you're giving up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for the turn. That seems really solid, because you're paying 1 for a 3,000 power investment, right? You're paying 1 and getting 3,000 power out of it. That seems very, very strong, and the trigger's not exactly terrible either defensively. Okay, again, I wish it hit characters or leaders, but that's okay. It's still very solid as is. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Windmill Village. This is a 1-cost red Windmill Village type stage. That's funny. The type is the exact same thing as the name of the card. And the effect is activate main. You may rest this stage. Up to one of your characters with 2,000 base power or less gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Okay, so maybe this will have something more to do with the Mountain Bandits idea, where you're going to buff up your super tiny characters and go from there. I'm not exactly sure, guys. If y'all know more about what's going on here, by all means, please tell me down in the comment section below, because I have no idea what they're trying to pull off with a card like this. It almost doesn't even make sense why I'd include a card like this, but hey, whatever. We'll see what Bandai does. Maybe they're cooking with this. We'll have to see how this pans out in the long run. Okay, moving into the green cards now. First up, we have Uda. How are we doing on time? Okay, I need to speed up a little bit. Here we go, guys. I'm going to try to speed up. So first up, we have Uda. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, green film-type character. With the effect, on play, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Then you cannot play character cards with a base cost of 5 or more during this turn. On KO, play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. Okay, so really powerful card to play out on curve, especially within red-green Luffy, right? We already saw how red-green Luffy works. If you have extra Dawn to play with for the turn, all the better, because you could turn extra Dawn into extra 2k counters. So this Uda, you can play it down for 4. You get 2 Dawn as active, 1 to attach to your leader for the leader effect, and then 1 Dawn for your opponent's turn to use as a 2k counter, right? And then this does have a stipulation here. You cannot play character cards with a base cost of 5 or more during this turn after you use the on-play effect. However, there's also an on-KO effect that has play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. I said I was going to speed up here, guys, but this is an SR. I'm going to try to spend a little bit more time on this than the other cards. This card has protection, right? Because this is just a 4-cost investment here. So if your opponent KOs this card with an effect or in battle, you're going to be able to cheat out a 5-cost or a 5-cost or lower character. So that is really, really strong. It will come into play rested, so your opponent will be able to attack into it, but that could also trigger any other on-play effects like this to get you more Dawn as active to protect that character with. And I have messed around with red-green Luffy already, and I have to say this card is incredible, even outside of red-green Luffy. Notice there's nothing making you run this card within a certain leader or type. It just says set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active, period. It doesn't care what your leader type is. It doesn't matter about anything like that. Now, you won't be able to play out characters with a cost of 5 or more after that, but you can use this in any deck. And then the on KO, guys, look at this. Play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. It's not checking for type or color. So you can cheat out any cost 5 or lower character from your hand rested. That seems... I'm a really big fan of this card. I think it has a lot of potential. Okay, really, really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Awesome. There's the alt art for it. That looks really good. Okay, next up we have Gordon. This is a 1-cost, 0-power, 2k counter green film type character. With the effect on play, you may reveal 1 music or film type card from your hand and set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. So again, you're basically paying 1 and you're getting a card out of hand in this case, a 2K counter. You're paying 1 and you're revealing a music or film type card from your hand, but you're going to get to set 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. Just a decent utility 2K counter here. You're paying 1 to get 2 Dawn as active at the end of your turn. So not too bad. That could help out. But the thing is that I don't really understand is this is a 2K counter. So why would you want to do that even within red-green Luffy, right? Because, okay, let's say you have a Dawn already attached to your leader and you only have 1 Dawn open for the turn. Okay, well, if you play out Gordon, now you have 2 Dawn open for the turn. But Gordon is a 2K counter. You just put on the board, and it's a 0 power character. So now it has no value on the board. You lost a 2K counter from hand just to get 2 Dawn active for your turn, when you could have just left the 1 Dawn as active for a 2K counter and used the 2K counter from your hand, maintaining a better hand size. So I'm not a huge fan of this card. In fact, I think it was almost like an oversight by the designers. I think this probably should have done something more or had something that it could do on the field to justify ever putting this card, into play. But that's just me. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Kobe. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter, green, film, navy type character with the effect blocker, and on play, if your leader has the film type or the strike attribute, set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, this is probably going to be a very common theme for red-green Luffy, right? Because he needs Dawn active on your opponent's turn to get the effect of his, to get his once per turn effect or whatever it is actually it's not even once per turn, it's just opponent's turn effect to start tapping Dawn down to get 2K counters. So really good stuff here. It's a 5-cost 6K and it has a 1K counter and it's a blocker, but your leader does have to be film type or strike attribute. Okay, so this card, unlike Uda, which is completely open, you do have to run this character in a specific deck type, film type, or strike attribute. Okay, but otherwise, still a very powerful card. You're basically getting a 4-cost 6K blocker, and it has a 1K counter built in for this on-play effect. So really, really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Sunny Kun. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter, green, film, Straw Hat Crew type character. With the effect, activate main once per turn. You may rest 1 of your Dawn cards, and this character gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So a card like this will only really be good if you're trying to build a go super wide, super low to the ground type of deck, where you just want to swing a bunch of 5s, 6s, and 7s across the board. But in that case, this is kind of like a 1-cost 4K, right? Because you're going to play this out, let's just say on turn 1, right? You play this out on turn 1, and now on your next turn, you tap 1 Dawn, and now you're swinging for 4,000. Okay, so you'll still have to attach, it's almost like you'll have to attach 2 Dawn to the character, right? Because you have to rest a Dawn and attach a Dawn, and now you're swinging for 5,000, which is most leaders' base power level. So not a great card, I will say, and it's very specific. I think you're going to want to run something like this in a very low to the ground, go super wide on the board deck. But yeah, other than a deck like that, I don't really see this showing up too much. Okay, probably decent and sealed, though. I probably should be mentioning if some of these cards are decent and sealed, but I'm sure we'll talk about that more, whenever we get to sealed over in OP-13 for us over here in the West. Okay, next up we have Sanji. This is a 5-cost, 7,000 power, green, film, Straw Hat Crew type character with the effect on play, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, hang on, there's another effect too, but this is a 5-cost 7K, so vanilla stats, we're losing the 1K counter, and we're getting a very powerful on-play effect to set up to 2 of our Dawn cards as active, and we have another effect still to read, okay? At the end of your turn, if your leader has the film or Straw Hat Crew type, set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active. Wow. So guys, this almost ends up being like a 2-cost 7,000 power character in a film or Straw Hat Crew deck. Because think about it, guys. Let's just say you, play out Sanji for 5. Okay, well, you get 2 Dawn back immediately. So now you still have, 2 Dawn to work with for the turn. And then at the end of your turn, you're getting another Dawn back. So on a 5 Dawn turn, you play this out, you still got to work with 3 Dawn on your turn and your opponent's turn. So this card, very, very strong, guys, and it's a 7,000 power body. Massive character here, and yeah, the end of your turn effect is locked to film or Straw Hat Crew type, but guys, that on play effect is not locked at all. This might be a very decent replacement for something like Cavendish for the time being. I mean, we'll see what happens with the price of that card as PRB02 comes out with a 5-cost Cavendish, but in general, I think this card is excellent, a very, very strong card, especially in the correct deck of like a film or Straw Hat Crew deck. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, we got an alt art here for Sanji. This looks amazing. Okay, really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Shanks. Shanks is a 10 cost, 12,000 power, green, film, 4 Emperors, red hair pirates type character. With the effect, on play, set all of your Dawn cards as active, then you cannot play cards from your hand during this turn. Okay, really, really powerful character here, a 10 cost 12k. Okay, the only characters we've seen bigger than a 10 cost 12k in the game currently are always Roger. With the 10 cost Rogers, they're usually like 10 cost 13,000 power characters. But other than Roger, a 10 cost 12k is the biggest characters we see in the game. So this is a 10 cost 12k, and then on play, set all of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, well guess what that means? In Red Green Luffy in particular, well, now you get to put 5 Dawn wherever you want it for the turn. Just make sure you put 1 on your leader. And now you're smashing in all across the board. And then you'll still have 5 Dawn left to work with for your opponent's turn. And it's not like it came, it's not like it was a waste of your turn. You still developed a 10 cost 12k in the process. Really, really incredible SR here, guys. Not a whole lot to talk about on it. I will say one thing. I did look at the rules on this card. And there was some confusion at first with the wording, especially the English translation. So understand right now, guys, it says on play, set all of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, that's the easy part. Then you cannot play cards from your hand during this turn. Play is talking about literally any card in your hand. In this case, it's talking about specifically playing a card that's from your hand by paying the activation cost of the card, right? The cost in the very top left corner. This was confusing for a few different reasons. Number one, whenever you're playing events in the game of One Piece, you're not actually playing events, you're activating them. However, per the rules, and again, someone correct me if I was misunderstanding this, but they have done an FAQ on this card already, and per the rules, you also cannot even activate events from your hand with this effect, okay? Now, I believe you're still going to be able to use activated abilities to cheat characters out from your hand, if I'm not mistaken. Again, someone help me out in the comment section below if I'm off on this. But you can't just literally pay that top left cost, in the top left corner of the card. You cannot pay that cost after playing Shanks. If there's another effect that cheats a character into play, I think you'll be able to do that. But you can't even activate events even though you're not playing them. Very confusing on this one. I'm going to leave that there, but just know this. When you play this card out, you're not playing any cards from your hand, even activating events from what I understand. Again, if I'm off on that, someone please correct me. I think the only way to cheat characters out after using this on play effect on your turn is by using an activated event to do it, because now you're not playing a card from your hand. Another card is using an effect to cheat a card out from your hand, if that makes sense. Super clumsy. Y'all bear with me, and if I was off on any of that, guys, please help me out in the comment section below. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, there's the alt art. Really good stuff here. Very cool looking alt art. Okay, next up we have Jinbei. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 2k counter, green, Fishman, film, Straw Hat Crew type character with no base effect. Okay, very nice. Next up, we have Tony Chopper, a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, green, animal, film, Straw Hat Crew type character with the effect on play, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, so this is basically what we just looked at with Sanji, and what they did is they made this into a 5 cost 6k with a 1k counter, but the on play effect is the exact same where there's no restriction. This is a very solid card here, guys. 5 cost 6k with a 1k counter. On play set up to 2 of your Dawn cards is active. This is basically a miniature, like, Cavendish replica. Now, yes, I understand Cavendish can, stand 2 Dawn even when attacking, but this will probably be a great replacement for the time being if that card does not drop down low enough in price for people to afford. Either way, really good stuff here. This is a great 5 cost 6k, especially just being an uncommon. Really solid card here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Trafalgar Law. This is a 6 cost, 6,000 power, green character, no counter by the way, with the type Film, Supernova, and Heart Pirates. And the effect is if you have 1 or less life cards, this character gains blocker, and then on play, you may return 1 of your characters to the owner's hand and play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. Okay, so on play, you may return 1 of your characters to the owner's hand. It doesn't matter what cost that card is. But then you can play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. Very, very cool card. Very strong card here. No color lock there. Did y'all notice that? Play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. It can be any color card. That's going to open up a lot of possibilities there from to experiment with this card in a bunch of different deck types. I love when they leave you know, effects very generic like this, where I can try this in different leaders and whatnot, maybe abuse the card, exploit the card in one way or another in a leader that they might not have intended for this card to be played in. I do love when they do that stuff, as long as it stays balanced, of course. But it really allows deck builders to make some really cool, interesting builds. But otherwise, guys, this is a 6-cost, 6,000 power character. And it does not actually just have blocker. You have to have 1 or less life cards. So it's not always just a blocker, unfortunately. And then the on-play effect is really good, but you are going to have to pull something back. But I think that's going to be easy to do. You're just probably going to want to pull back a searcher, like what we see with Jozu, right? So within blue, there's a card called Jozu, not in OP-13, right? We're talking about, you know, a ways. I can't remember what set it's in, to be honest, guys, but it was a while back. And it's a 6-cost, 7,000 power character with a 1k counter, and it makes you pull one of your characters back to your hand to bounce a 6-cost or lower character back to the opponent's hand, right? Or you might even be able to even target your own characters. I can't remember exactly. But the point is, that's a 6-cost 7k with a 1k counter that pulls back your character to bounce one of your opponent's characters, okay? And in this case here, it's not the same. You're going to return one of your characters to the owner's hand, and then you're going to play up to 1 character with the cost of 5 or less from your hand. So instead of pushing one of your opponent's characters out of the way like Jozu does, you're flooding the board more, and you're playing out a 5 cost from your hand, but it is rested. See, that's where things get a little tricky, where it's like, okay, I'm playing out a card rested, so now my opponent has a target to attack into. I still think this card's very strong. I'm actually surprised they didn't decide to make this card like an SR and make it into like a 6-cost 6k with a 1k counter, or a 6-cost 7k that just always has a blocker. But still, I think this is a very strong card. It almost, compared to some of the other cards we've seen, guys, this card almost seems underpowered from some of the other cards we've seen, but it's still a very powerful effect here. You're going to be able to do some really cool tricks with. Okay, let's keep going. I said let's speed up, and now I'm taking more time than ever. Okay, so next up we have Nico Robin, 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter, green, film, Straw Hat Crew type character, with the effect on play up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Okay, so this is a 7-cost 7k, it has a 1k counter, and then right when you play the card, you get to choose one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less, and it cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Well, what does that mean, cannot be rested? So it can't attack? Yes, that's correct, it cannot attack. It will not be able to activate any effect that requires it to tap, and it will not be able to block as well, right? So that's actually very strong. Any type of effect that requires the character to rest, or, you know, think about it, blocking requires you to rest, attacking it requires you to rest, some activate main effects require you to rest the character. Well, they're not going to be able to do that at all per this character's effect here until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So really solid card here, and it, I mean, locking down an 8-cost or higher an 8-cost or lower character is really, really solid. It allows you to set up your board, and this is a 7-cost 7k with a 1k counter. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Frankie. This is a 3-cost, 5,000 power, green, film, Straw Hat Crew type character with the effect on KO, rest up to 2 of your opponent's cards. Wow. Excuse me. Rest up to 2 of your opponent's cards. So, I mean, unless I'm misunderstanding this, that could even be like a leader, correct? Rest up to 2 of your opponent's cards. Now, it is an on-KO effect. They can play around that if they choose to or if they know how to, but still, it's a 3-cost 5k. I really like when they make... Guys, I have to say this. Bandai's been doing this more lately, I feel like. Creating 3-cost characters with on-KO effects, I'm a big fan of that. Like, we saw that with the 3-cost Sanji from back in, I think it was OP-10, where it's a 3-cost, 3,000 power card with on-KO draw a card, and I think it's on your turn, it gets plus 3,000 power. So you swing for 6,000, they attack into it, you're like, okay, thanks, I'm going to draw a card now. Well, in this case, they're doing it with Frankie. It's just a 3-cost 5k, but on KO, I can rest up to 2 of my opponent's cards. So I can rest Dawn, or I can rest characters. I can rest, I think, like I said, I think you can even rest leaders, if I'm understanding this correctly. Really good stuff here. I like when they make on KO effects on these cheap, early play-out characters, like these like early throwaway characters. So really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Brooke. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter, green, film, Straw Hat Crew type character with the effect on play if your leader has the film or Straw Hat Crew type set up to one of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, this is locked to film or Straw Hat Crew type leaders, but it's a 3-cost 4k with a 1k counter that allows you to set up to one of your Dawn as active. So it's almost like a 2-cost 4k in a way, right? But it does... it does, you know, it is still a 3 cost, which could help in other ways. You never know with cost-based removal or something like that. Either way, I think this card is solid. Very cool looking picture too, where it looks like you got the guitar fretboard in the background, like kind of looping around. Really cool looking stuff here. And other than that, though, not a super special card. I will say it's almost like, why not just run a 2-cost 4K, so that way you can just play it out on your 2-Dawn turn, or, you know, if you have this on your 3-Dawn turn, you get played out for 3 and you get the 1 Dawn back as active. Not terrible. Don't misunderstand me, guys. I'm not saying it's a bad card, but I would almost prefer a 2-cost 4K, because then I could play it out right on turn 1 going second. Either way, good stuff here. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Beppo. This is a 5-cost, 7,000 power, green, Minx, Film, Heart Pirates type character. With the effect, end of your turn, set this character or up to one of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, wow. So 5-cost 7K, and I can set this character or up to one of my Dawn cards as active. So on the turn you play this, you'll set up, you know, you'll set a Dawn card as active, right? But then every turn after that, if you're attacking in for 7,000 power, which is no joke, right? 7,000 is a big number. You're attacking in for 7K, and now at the end of the turn, you could choose to stand this card as active, or you could stand a Dawn as active and say, yeah, sure, attack into my 7K. You know, so I really like the design on this card. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Helmeppo. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, green, 5-cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter, green, Film, Navy type character with no base effect, just a vanilla. Very good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Zorro. Roronoro Zorro, a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter, green, Film, Supernova Straw Hat Crew type character with the effect on play, if your leader has the Film or Straw Hat Crew type, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, so a little bit different from the Sanji, but then we have end of your turn, set this character as active. Okay, a lot different than the Sanji, right? So remember, guys, the Sanji we looked at before, the 5-cost one, it was a 5-cost 7K with no counter. This is a 4-cost 5K with counter. And then the Sanji had no stipulation, no condition on the on-play effect. You just set 2 of your Dawn cards as active. With Zorro, you do have to have a Film or Straw Hat Crew type leader to get your 2 Dawn as active. But then with the end of your turn effect, check this out. The Sanji had end of your turn if your leader's Film or Straw Hat Crew set up to one of your Dawn as active. Whereas this card has end of your turn, set this character as active with no condition. Very interesting the way they chose to do that. I do like that quite a bit, because we know Zorro and Sanji, hey, they're both here for Luffy, right? But they operate in 2 very different ways, and they're not exactly the best of friends. Right? They're almost like frenemies, right? But whatever the case is, really good stuff here. Great card, 4-cost 5K with the 1K counter. You're attacking in your turn, you're standing it up. It has protection, and on play in the right deck, you're standing 2 Dawn as active. Very solid card here. Okay, hang on, we're waiting for this to load in, guys. We got a Gum Gum Elephant Gun. There we go. Gum Gum Elephant Gun is a 2-cost green Supernova Straw Hat Crew event with the effect main. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Then set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. Okay. So rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less for 2 Dawn, very strong, and then set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. And then we also have a trigger, guys. The trigger is rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Yeah, guys, this is a really, really solid event here. So again, 2 cost, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. That was already probably worth considering running, because that's just like what we saw. I think there was another Gum Gum Elephant Gun that came out a set or 2 ago, and it was like a 1-cost 3K counter for the leader, and it was like, and it had something like pay 1 more, so it was 2 altogether to rest a 5 or less. But this is just like an improved version on that, guys. I mean, main, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less, then set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. And this is not leader locked or type locked or anything like that. Wow, very good stuff here. This is a very, very solid event here, I have to say. Really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Gum Gum Snake Shot. This is a 2-cost green Fishman Island Supernova Straw Hat Crew event with the effect counter KO up to... Hang on. Counter KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. All right. And then trigger, activate this card's counter effect. Wow. So you're paying 2 as a counter to KO a 4 or less. A rested 4 or less. Really cool stuff here, guys. This is a potentially very powerful defensive event. Really interesting. That is very interesting. I like the picture too. You don't really see stuff like this very much. I feel like I wish Bandai would print more of these counter events that actually just remove characters. I'm not gonna lie. Some people might not like that idea. Some people might have even cringed a little bit from that idea. But hear me out. I think when removal is balanced properly, I think it's very healthy for a card game. And I kind of like this idea of counter removal. That's a very cool idea. It's not. This isn't the first time we've seen it. There has been other effects in the past, but it is nice to see it. I feel like this might be the best counter removal I've seen so far, or at least the cheapest. Right? For example, I think in the past we had a 2-cost. It was called Impact Wave or Shock Wave or something like that for Black Navy, where it was a 2-cost counter event that did plus 4,000 and KO'd a. I think it was like 3 or less, or something like that, active character. I can't remember exactly. And then the trigger could just KO a 4 or less. But this is a counter. Yep, just KO a 4 or less, just period. So I am a big fan of this, and I hope Bandai experiments with this more in the future. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, this card here is called I Know You're Strong, so I'll go all out from the very start. This is a 1-cost green Supernova Straw Hat Crew event with the effect main. You may rest 2 of your Dawn cards. Up to 2 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Okay, so it's like a miniature Electrical Luna, and then counter, your leader gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So this is a really nice utility 3K counter, a leader, utility counter here. That activate main effect there, or however you want to say that main effect is very solid, guys. You're paying 3, and you're making it where up to 2 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. And some people might be thinking, well, why not just run Electrical Luna then at that point? Well, guys, this is also a 3K counter. I'm not saying that it's better than Electrical Luna, but it kind of approaches that same idea from a different standpoint. I am a big fan of this card. I think this is really good stuff here. Okay. Next up, we have Ezo. It looks like we're getting into the blue cards now. I'm not sure why it's taking so long to load, guys. My apologies. But here we go. Now we're on Ezo. 6 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter, blue, Land of Wano, Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect, on play, draw 2 cards. Okay. I do love this effect here, and I hope this is the new direction for blue going forward. And I think they were scared to do this in the past. Ever since the blue Nami ban, how do I say this? I think in the past they were scared to print effects like this because of the way that Nami worked as a leader. It made it where, okay, any kind of draw card effects that you would want to typically put in blue, well, you have to make sure it doesn't break Nami. Well, they ended up banning that leader, and now there's going to be a new promo leader to replace it. And now Bandai, it's kind of like their hands were tied behind their back. They couldn't do anything. Like, okay, we want to print all these draw card effects within blue, but we just can't because it might break other decks. Well, now they can, right? Now that Nami's been, adjusted in the way it has been, now we can actually print some really strong draw card effects for blue. And this Ezo, guys, is incredible. 6 cost, 6,000 power with a 1K counter. Excuse me. And then on play, draw 2 cards. So think about that, guys. This is a +1. This is a +1. Because let's just say you have 5 cards in your hand. You play this card out. You lose 1 card from your hand, so you go down to 4 cards in hand. On play, draw 2. So +1, +1, right? So draw 2 cards. You go from a 5-card hand to a 6-card hand, and you're developing a 5-cost body. A 6-cost 6K in the process. Really, really good stuff here. Big fan. Okay, next up we have Edward Newgate. This is a 10-cost, 12,000 power character here for blue. 4 Emperors and Whitebeard Pirates type. The effect is blocker, and on play, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand, then give your leader and 1 character up to 2 rested Dawn cards each. I remember when this card was first spoiled, I was very excited to see this because it was right around that time period where I was complaining like, man, blue doesn't really have any late game threat that they want to play right now. That's nothing against 10 cost Kaido. There's 2 of them, right? One draws 4, the other bounces an 8 cost and a 3 cost. But those, because of the direction of the game, those weren't really scary enough a lot of times. Well, with the case of Edward Newgate, I think this is now the new go-to 10 cost for blue. It's a 10 cost 12K, just like Kaido was, but this has blocker, so it's also going to help you protect your board, and then it draws you 2 cards. it's a draw 2 trash one, right? So it breaks even in hand. If you have 5 cards in hand, you play this out, then you draw 2, and then you trash 1. So you break even in hand, and then you also still get to attach 2 Dawn to a character and 2 Dawn to a leader. So really, really incredible card here, guys. I'm a huge fan of this new Edward Newgate. I feel like this is a blue card, or a card that blue really, really needed for the late game. So really good stuff here. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's just really solid. There's not really much more to say. Really excellent. Really good. I'm sure that all the blue players out there are very happy about this card, especially the Whitebeard players out there, or the, Whitebeard Pirates type players. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, now we have the alt-art. Again, guys, I apologize. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Now we got the alt-art. Looks really awesome. Okay, next up we have Otama. This is a 1-cost, 0-power, 2K counter blue land of Wano type character with the effect on play if you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2 cards, and trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, so this is a 1-cost, 0-power, 2K counter. It's a utility counter, right? It's a utility 2K counter. On play, if you have 3 or less life cards, you have to have 3 or less life cards, you can do a draw 2 trash 1. Really good stuff. Again, this goes back to what we were saying about blue. Notice that, guys, now that they have put the restriction on Nami, they've banned the original OP-13 Nami, and they're replacing it with a new promo Nami. They cannot play cards that are not East Blue. Well, now we can finally see some draw card effects within blue. Look at this, guys. The first 3 cards we saw, right? I think it was like the first 3 blue cards we saw. Otama, draw 2, trash 1. Edward Newgate, draw 2, trash 1. Izo, draw 2. So we're starting to see the card draw come in for blue, and I think blue players really wanted to see that. Really good stuff to see here, and this is on a 2K utility body. Very nice. Okay, next up we have Curiel. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power blue Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect, when attacking, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader with a type including Whitebeard Pirates, or 1 character with a type including Whitebeard Pirates. Okay, and then on KO, draw 1 card. So right here, guys, this is, so there's no counter on this card, and it's a 3-cost 4K. I'm not really in love with this effect here either. I guess you can, hang on, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader with a type including Whitebeard Pirates, or a character with a type including Whitebeard Pirates. So you can technically attack in with this and give the Dawn to this character, so that's not bad. But there is no counter on this card. And then on KO, draw a card, that's nice as well. But I have to say, I think this card deserved a 1K counter. I don't think that would have been too strong. Or if they were just trying to print cards without 1K counters, I think this could have been a 3-cost 5K and still actually been fine in the current format we're in these days. And it probably still wouldn't have seen play, to be honest, guys, because it doesn't really have that much utility, and it doesn't even have a counter. Again, not to say it's a bad card, but it all comes down to how you're trying to build your deck. Now, I will say this, when it comes to Seal, this card's probably going to be just fine. You slam it down on 3, you attack with it, give up to 1 rested Dawn card, to your leader, or with it, hang on. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader with a type including Whitebeard Pirates, or 1 character with a type including Whitebeard Pirates. Yeah, so it doesn't say other than this character, so you can give it to this character here and start smashing in. Really good stuff, and if they remove it, you get to draw a card. Okay, good stuff here. Let's keep going. Okay, next up is Haruta. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter blue Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect, when attacking, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card. Okay, that is not bad. This is actually an excellent, man, this is a really nice 1-drop for blue. Okay, now you do have to have 4 or less cards in your hand, so maybe, sorry guys, if y'all hear my stomach starting to rumble, I'm getting a little bit hungry. Y'all bear with me. My apologies. So when attacking, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, draw a card. It is unfortunate you have to have 4 or less cards in hand, but if you counter out super aggressively, I think this is actually just a great 1-drop for any blue deck. Notice how, so the card we just saw, this Curiel, your leader or the character has to be Whitebeard Pirates that you're giving the Dawn to, so that's, locked in that way. But this Haruta, even though it's a Whitebeard Pirates type card, it just says, yeah, when attacking, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, draw a card. So this almost acts as like just attack with this character for 2,000. It's almost like activate main, rest this character, and if you have 4 or less cards, your hand, draw a card. But it has even more utility than that. If you load it up with Dawn, you could swing for 5 and still potentially draw a card. So I do like this card. I actually do like this card quite a bit. Not saying it's busted or anything, but this is a nice 1-drop for blue. Really big fan of this for blue decks. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Vista. This is a 6-cost, 8,000 power blue Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect double attack, and once per turn, if this character would be KO'd or would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash 1 card with a type including Whitebeard Pirates from your hand instead. Another card that I remember when it was first spoiled, I thought, man, this card is outrageously good. Not necessarily broken, but it is very, very strong. You're not going to be able to protect this card unless you have Whitebeard Pirates type cards in your hand. So you do have to kind of build this card around a deck that's Whitebeard Pirates focused, I would say. I mean, you don't have to, right? Technically, hey, technically you don't have to, but it probably would make the most sense so you can protect the character by having enough Whitebeard Pirates type cards in your hand. But 6 cost, 8,000 power with double attack. So you're playing this card out on curve. It's an 8,000 power body. It has double attack. Your opponent has to respect those attacks, and they can't just remove this card for any reason. They have to. It is a once per turn effect, but they can't just like go, okay, I'm just gonna remove that card with a red rock. Okay, well I'm gonna counter your first red rock. Now how are you gonna get rid of it? Right? You're gonna once per turn trash a Whitebeard card, Whitebeard Pirates type card, and it gets saved from that. But this card's even better than that. It's not just saved from removal. So say your opponent's like, okay, I gotta get rid of this Vista, right? I gotta get rid of the Vista. I'm gonna swing 12 into 8. Okay, well, if this character would be KO'd, I'll just trash a Whitebeard Pirates type card from my hand instead. So it has protection from battle and from effects. Any type of effect and even from battle. So really, really powerful card here for blue Whitebeard Pirates type decks. Good stuff. Okay. Next up we have Fossum. This is a 2 cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter, blue Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect, if your character with the type including Whitebeard Pirates would be KO'd by your opponent's effect, you may trash this character instead. Okay, we already saw this with Ivankov with the red cards, right? Protecting the Revolutionary Army type cards from KO effects. Well, now we have the blue version here with Fossum. Okay, really good stuff here. Just a nice utility anti-removal card to have for blue if removal ever gets too crazy in the format again. All right, let's keep going. Next up is Blominko. This is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 2k counter, blue Whitebeard Pirates type character with no base effect. Good stuff to have, especially in sealed type of tournaments. Good stuff here. Just a vanilla character, though. Okay, now we have another vanilla, Blenheim, 6 cost, 7,000 power, blue, Whitebeard Pirates, 2k counter character here. Very good for sealed and maybe even to fill some spots if you're just trying to get a little bit deeper, like a bigger curve with whatever deck you're trying to build. Other than that, though, not a whole lot to talk about. Okay, now we have Boa Sandersonia. This is a 2 cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter, blue, Kuja Pirates type character with the effect on play if your leader is Boa Hancock. Okay, play up to 1 Boa Hancock with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Okay, so if your leader is Boa Hancock, play up to 1 Boa Hancock with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. That is really nice if there's going to be enough support around that, because that's going to help you dump your hand so that when you're playing Boa, your hand size is low enough to use your leader effect more efficiently, right? So really, really good stuff here. Big fan of this card, but we're going to have to see what kind of support comes with it. This is a very specific card. This isn't really going to be able to be used in anything other than a Boa Hancock deck, right? But in that deck, if they give it enough support, you're flooding the board, you're keeping your hand size low. This one does have a lot of potential, okay? All right, going straight into Boa Hancock, we have a 3 cost, 5,000 power character. So this is probably, guys, keep this card right here in mind when we're judging this next card, because this was clearly meant specifically for Boa Sandersonia. It can cheat out a 3 cost or lower Boa Hancock from your hand. Okay, so we have a 3 cost, 5,000 power, 0 counter, blue, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Kuja Pirates type character here with the effect on KO if your leader is Boa Hancock or multicolored. Okay, draw 2 cards. Wow. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. I do love these on KO effects on the 3 cost characters, because now if you're going first or second, you play out a 3 cost character, you're like, yeah, but it's just going to get removed next turn. You know what I mean? What's the point even playing it? I guess, maybe I get a counter out of my opponent's hand, which is not terrible, but I want more than that. When I'm trying to build my deck, I need more value sometimes. Well, this card here says, okay, well, if your leader's Boa or multicolored, I'm going to draw 2 cards if you KO this character. That is really nice. And if they don't KO the character, it's a 3 cost 5k, just beating him down the entire time. So really, really good stuff here. Big fan of this card. Okay, now I will say it's a little bit counterintuitive, I feel like, to what we're trying to do with the card we just looked at, this Boa Sandersonia card, because within Blue Boa, the leader, we're trying to get as many cards out of our hand as possible, as consistently as possible, so that way we can use our leader effect to bounce cards and draw cards and whatnot. Well, here's the funny part. We play out Boa, which is -1 card from hand. Boa Sandersonia, and that cheats out Boa Hancock. Okay, that's 2 cards we just cheat out from our hand. If this card gets KO'd, we draw the 2 cards right back. So a little bit weird as far as design space goes, but hey, I don't think anyone's going to turn down a draw 2, right? I mean, that's really good. And this can be used in multicolored leaders as well. That's really awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, we have another Boa here. This is the alt art. I mean, you know, it's the same Boa, excuse me, but this is the alt art for what we just saw. Really cool looking art there. Okay, next up we have Boa Marigold. This is a 5-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter blue Kuja Pirates type character with blocker, and on play, if your leader is Boa Hancock, play up to 1 Boa Hancock with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. Very nice, guys. I mean, now we're seeing it with Sandersonia for early on. You're going to be able to cheat characters out from your hand early on, and then in the mid game with Boa Marigold, you're going to be able to cheat out more characters. So, guys, I think if you're going first with Boa, you can have a pretty disgusting curve with the way you, depending on how you build your deck. Turn 1, maybe a Searcher, who knows, but then turn 2, play out the 2-cost character we just saw. Even though you're on 3 Dawn, play out the 2-cost character, cheating out the 3-cost Boa, and then next turn, Boa Marigold, 5 cost, playing out a 6-cost or lower Boa. Play up to 1 Boa Hancock with the cost of 6 or less from your hand. Guys, there's a 6-cost, 8,000 power Boa Hancock already in the game currently. That makes it where your opponent cannot attack for the turn with one of their characters. So really, really good stuff here. And it's a blocker. Guys, great card. This was much needed support, I think, for Boa, guys, for blue Boa Hancock. I think this card was much needed support. Really cool stuff here. I hope this is the direction they build Boa moving forward in the future. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Marshall D. Teach. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter blue Whitebeard Pirates type character. Okay, we got young Marshall D. Teach here, right, when he's still on Whitebeard's crew. The effect is when attacking, you may trash one of your characters with a type including Whitebeard Pirates, and then draw 1 card, and this character gains Banish during this turn. Okay, man. Okay. Is this talking about I think it was old Thatch, right? Poor old Thatch, you know. Who knows what's going on here, to be honest. I don't want to spoil anything. But, man, what an awesome looking art there. He's got the devil fruit in his hand. He's looking maniacal. The eyes are bulging, you know, lightning in the background. And look at this effect, guys. Trash one of your characters with a type including Whitebeard Pirates, and then draw 1 card, and this character gains Banish for the turn. Wow, that is awesome. I love that effect. For those who are not aware, one of my favorite effects in the entire game is Banish. It's something I really love. I wish there were more, you know, decent cards with Banish to run, but man, this card right here, and the fact that it's a 4-cost, 5,000 power blue Whitebeard Pirates type character with a 1k counter, this might make me want to revisit ST22 Ace in Newgate, guys. That could be very, very interesting, if you know what I mean. That could be very cool. Really big fan of this effect here. I think it's very awesome, drawing a card and Banish, and that's every turn, guys. When attacking, you can just keep doing this. Who knows, maybe in the future, guys, hang on, guys. What about green, blue, Zoro, and Sanji? This, when you attack, is not once. That's not a once per turn. Now, you might not want to do it multiple times in a turn, but that's not a once per turn. So if you're just trying to cash out on your, you know, Whitebeard Pirates like Searchers or something you're using in the deck, okay, just get rid of those and draw cards in the process, and this card's going to have Banish. Might be able to swing twice with it to draw 2 cards, getting rid of 2, like, smaller cards. 2, you know, small. Now, they do have to be Whitebeard Pirates type cards, but still, that could be very interesting in a green, blue, Zoro, and Sanji Whitebeard Pirates type of deck. Okay, very cool. This card's got me thinking, I have to say. I'm like, oh, the deck builder inside my mind is like, okay, this is going to be a very, very fun card to play with in the future. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Yamato. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power. Okay, wow, that art, guys. Sorry, I got distracted. A 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, blue Landawano type character with the effect on play. If you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2. Okay, if you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2. Then give up to 1 Rested Dawn card to your leader. Okay, we just saw this with Otama, right? I think the 2k counter Otama was if you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2, trash 1. Now, this is just a draw 2. Very, very strong effect here. Interesting. I wonder if that's going to become a blue Land of Wano theme moving forward, where if you have 3 or less life cards, do something. Are they prepping us for like a blue-yellow type of leader or something in the future? Who knows? Could be very interesting. Either way, though, guys, if you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2. That's incredible. It's a 5-cost 6K with a 1K counter. The stat line's already strong enough, and then you could potentially do a draw 2 trash one, and then give up to 1 Rested Dawn card to your leader. This is not a... Wow, okay. Guys, this is not a leader-locked or type-locked card in any way, shape, or form. This is a 5-cost blue card. All my blue-yellow ace players out there, yeah, I'm liking the way this looks, guys. If you have 3 or less life cards, draw 2 cards. Yeah, I think I can make that happen pretty easily with blue-yellow ace. You know, we run Zeus, you might want to run Flampe. We can do all kinds of things with that. And then we can give up to 1 Rested Dawn card to our leader, swing for 6 if needed. Really good stuff here. And it's a 5-cost. Man, I think blue-yellow ace might want to try this card out. Okay, very good stuff there. Let's keep going. Really big fan of this. This card right here, again, we're seeing so much card draw in this set for blue. I have to say, guys, once we get to the sealed events, we're a little ways away from that over here in the West, but the more card draw, it feels like the better in sealed events, right? Because there's usually very, very low card draw. But man, seeing all these blue cards, there's card draw left and right in this set. Could be a very fun sealed experience. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up, I think we have the alt art for the card we just looked at. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I actually like this one so much better. They both look incredible. They're two very different, you know, moods, right? This is the more aggressive. I'm ready to fight. You know, she got what would you call it, like the furrowed eyebrow, like she's ready to fight. She's serious. This one, it's still kind of crazy, right? You know, the eyes are a little bit wild, but, you know, this is a very different feel to this one, and this one looks awesome. What a great color palette, too, they used for this. They both look really good, but this one's like such a softer look. Awesome. Really good. Okay, next up we have Rakuyo. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter blue, Whitebeard Pirates type character with the effect, when attacking... Oh, man, all I can think of is Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji with Whitebeard Pirates. Now, guys, these are not once per turn effects. If you have 4 or less cards in your hand, all of your characters with a type including Whitebeard Pirates gain plus 1,000 power during this turn. That's outrageous. That's outrageous in Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji, guys. This could be so cool. If you have 4 or less cards in your hand, okay, so you do have to go down in hand size, all of your characters with a type, including Whitebeard Pirates, gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. We just saw... I'm sorry, guys, I don't like to go back, but we have to go back to Teach. This was another when attacking effect that we could run. It's not... And remember, guys, they're not type locked for, like, their effect. Well, part of it is, right? You just have to... In this case, with Marshall D. Teach, you have to trash a character that's Whitebeard Pirates type. And with this Rakuyo card, you can only buff your characters that are Whitebeard Pirates type. That's fine, right? That's all we'll run. That could be very fun. That's a project for another day. Let me just say this, though. In general, I don't think this is the best card out there, like, for any other kind of deck. It's just very interesting. That's a when attacking effect. If you have 4 or less cards in your hand, all of your characters with a type, including Whitebeard Pirates, gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. If you could stand this card up and attack again and keep your hand size under 4 or under, all of a sudden, you're buffing your entire board by 2,000. And you're attacking twice with this card in the process, too, right? That could be very interesting. And it does give all of your characters with the type, including Whitebeard Pirates, plus 1,000. So even this card. So you'd only have to swing for 6 with your leader. You know, you'd only have to attach 2 Dawn to this card, and he will attack in and buff himself up to 7,000. Then you can stand him up with your leader after attacking with your leader, pulling back a card, and then attack again with this card. And that will buff him up to 8,000, right? And you can go from there. Really, really cool effect there, potentially, in Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji. But I think outside of that deck, this is probably just kind of a mediocre card. Because remember, you do have to set this card up. It has to sit on the board. There has to be no removal to deal with it. And then it can go from there. But in general, I think this is a fine card, and it's a 3-cost 4K with the 1K counter, so it could still be just fine. But having to go down in hand size might not be ideal for every kind of deck. We'll have to see if people can make it work, though. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Little Oars Jr. This is a 7-cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter, blue, giant, Whitebeard Pirates ally type character with the effect... when attacking, if your leader type includes Whitebeard Pirates, draw 1 card. Okay, see, now this card, unfortunately, will not work for us in Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji, because your leader has to be Whitebeard Pirates type. But hey, here we go. More card draw, guys. 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter. When attacking, draw a card if your leader's Whitebeard Pirates. Really good stuff here. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset about that. And I do like that we're seeing a lot of win attacking effects here, guys. I feel like there's not a whole lot of win attacking effects in the game currently. I mean, maybe there are, but they're just not really that great to play. But I am a big fan of seeing this. It's usually better when a card has an on-play / win attacking, like what we saw with Brook. 3 cost, 4,000 power Brook from EV01, but this still seems very, very solid here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We made it to the events. If I bowed down to power, what's the point in living? Okay, this is a 1-cost blue Whitebeard Pirates type event. The effect is main. You may rest one of your Dawn cards, and if you have 1 or less life cards, your opponent cannot activate Blocker whenever your leader attacks during this turn. Okay, then counter, your leader gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Okay, so we have a 1-cost 3k counter leader effect, utility leader effect here, or event, I should say. And that main effect, so it's going to cost you 2 altogether, right? You're going to pay 1 to activate and then pay an additional 1 for the main effect. And then if you have 1 or less life cards, your opponent cannot activate Blocker whenever your leader attacks during this turn. So if they're down to 0 life, guys, and you're at if you have 1 or less life, okay, you're swinging through. They can't block your leader. So that seems really, really strong. This is a very nice utility 1-cost 3k leader, counter, however you want to say it. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Phoenix Pyre Apple. It is a 1-cost former Whitebeard Pirates, blue former Whitebeard Pirates type event. With the effect main, you may rest one of your Dawn cards, place up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. Counter, your leader gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. So we have another utility 3k counter for the leader, and the effect on this one is 2 again. So pay 1 to activate the event, and then pay an additional 1 for this effect here. Place up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. That's not base power, guys. So red, blue, ace, or excuse me, well, yeah, maybe red, blue, ace as well. But I was going to say red, blue, Marco. In fact, it looks like this is like Marco's type of effect here with those blue flames, like those Phoenix flames. And it's called Phoenix Pyre Apple. Yeah, this has got to be Marco. And guys, in Marco, it's basically like a 3 Dawn investment to bottom deck a 5,000 power or lower character, right? Because 1 Dawn on your leader and then 2 for this event here, and you're bottom decking a 5,000 power character, right? So that's very strong, and it's a 3k counter for later in the game. This is really nice for red blue Marco players. Really big fan of this card, and I think this is something that Marco did need. Bottom decking as well. That's very powerful. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Brilliant Punk. This is a 4-cost blue Whitebeard Pirates type event. With the effect main, you may return one of your characters to the owner's hand. Return up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less to the owner's hand. Trigger, draw a card. So this is basically like a 4-cost Jozu event right here. You're returning one of your characters to your hand, and then you're returning up one of your, return up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less to the owner's hand. So you can technically return your own character if you want to, but hey, generally speaking, the way that this card would work is you bounce back one of your searchers, one of your utility cards to get more value from it later, and then you bounce a 6 cost or lower back to the owner's hand. So that can really help slow down your opponent while also helping speed you up getting through your deck using more searchers. So big fan of this card. I don't know how practical it will be to use, like within constructed decks. I think it will be very good in sealed, because notice this, guys, it's just return one of your characters to the owner's hand. It doesn't care, like, it's not leader locked. It doesn't, and it doesn't even care, what character you pull back to your hand. You don't have to pull back a Whitebeard Pirates type character. You can pull back any of your characters to your hand and then bounce a 6 or less to the owner's hand. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. It's going to be like pseudo removal in sealed events, and this might even be kind of decent in general because, again, you're bouncing back any kind of deck that splashes blue. You can pay 4 to get your utility back to your hand to bounce a 6 or less off the field. This could be decent in any deck, guys. Especially, I'm even thinking imagine in like a blue-black deck, like maybe blue-black Usopp even. Imagine this, guys. You go, okay, if you're running Orlumbus, -4 to the cost of a character, trashing one of my character, I think it KOs one of your own characters, fills up 2 cards in your trash, and now they have -4 cost. Well, now you're hitting a 10 cost or lower character in that case, right? Let me see, return up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less to the owner's hand. Yeah, it doesn't go off a base cost. So really, really good stuff here. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Okay, okay, now we made it to purple, so this will be for part 2, guys. Good job making it this far. I have to say, so far so good, guys. OP-13 looks absolutely incredible. Red, green, and blue looked amazing. let me get the outro page on the screen real quick, guys, and we will wrap this up. Appreciate everybody who's made it this far, guys, because if you're supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, donating through Patreon or PayPal, Playmat supporters, YouTube members, Discord community, however you're helping me out, I really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, this new set, OP-13, looks really interesting, looks really exciting. I cannot wait to start getting my hands on those cards. I know we just got OP-12. I know. I just want to be caught up so bad. I think you guys know what I mean. But yeah, so for tomorrow's video, we'll do part 2. We'll be going over the purple, black, and yellow cards, and the any kind of secrets, of course, any kind of SPs and whatnot for part 2 of the OP-13 full set breakdown. Okay, hope y'all enjoyed. Till next time, guys. Peace.